NVIDIA dumps, but the Moon token dumped harder, and Ripple might have an IPO. This is around the blockchain. Guys, make sure you go and hit that like button because we have an all-star lineup, and this might be the best lineup ever. I know I've said that before, but I was lying in the past, and today I mean it. Yeah. Well, every time you're on, Blood, it's in contention. But we're gonna go start. Friend of the channel, he hasn't been on in a while. It is Savy. Savy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing great. You're everyone's favorite bear. Also on today, we have Faded Wealth. Says Faded Wealth, and he's going to give you the tools to no longer fade it. How are you doing?
Yo, I'm doing good, man. Glad to be here. Good to be back. Love this show. One of my favorites. So
we're going to get into it today. Also on, we have Crypto Blood, straight from his ATL trip. He just got back in Michigan. Crypto Blood, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm in the red square, so I'm already winning, baby.
You know what? We're gonna.
Hey, we got some glove love in the house, man. I didn't know Savy was from, is up in the glove. So we got 2 glove members in the house, ladies and gents. Let's go.
All right, 5% of the population gets that reference, and he's talking about Michigan. And then also we have Dylan Rose. I accidentally offended him, but I think he took it well. Dylan Rose, no offense, man. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. No, you did not offend me. No hard feelings.
Dang it. I was actually going for it. It was a targeted attack. I'll have to sharpen my blade next time. But let's get right into NVIDIA. NVIDIA is down. There's a increasing speculation. They're amping up the pressure on NVIDIA due to their relationship with China. They no longer want China to get the good AI chips. So the U.S. government leaning on them. And so the rules are going to restrict numerous advanced chips and chip-making tools to a number of countries, including Iran and Russia, and also blacklisting Chinese chip manufacturers. More threads and Byron in a move to slow down China's military capabilities that are utilizing some of these AI chips. And NVIDIA shares fell about 6% on the news. Now, Crypto Savvy, I have these well thought up questions about China and U.S. relations and thawing tensions. But I want to ask you, were you shorting NVIDIA? Have you been bearish on NVIDIA? Is anything being validated for you today?
I've been bearish on the whole market, NVIDIA included.
That's so true.
Man.
Yeah.
I mean,
we love that.
In all reality, these markets are in serious trouble, in my opinion. So
preach, Savvy, preach.
What do you think, Blood? I mean, I don't.
I'm with you.
Know your opinion,
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
I mean, everything looks like a giant bubble. I think I call it the biggest money grab in history, dude. I think they're about to just rip money out of the markets, make everyone broke. But NVIDIA, I mean, it's look at the chart. It looks like a triple top. I mean, it's ugly.
All right, I will pull that stock up in a second. Now, Faded Wealth, I want to ask you, we have this fracturing. We have America telling NVIDIA, hey, slow down with Russia, Iran, China. So one can assume that maybe China is going to ramp up their own production domestically. I want to ask you, is this going to make AI chip progress stronger because now we have 2 competing narratives, or is it going to make it weaker because we've basically slowed down the top company?
I think it'll, honestly, both midterm and long term, I think it'll make it a lot better. Unfortunately. And the reason I say that is because it's inevitable that AI is going to be weaponized and used against people. And that's going to be, pretty much the most broad use case of it, right? Like OpenAI is just kind of a consumer facing product that a bunch of people are able to use and, expediting and optimize a lot of their work efforts. But I think, the actual breakthroughs that are going to, shift the development of technology is unfortunately going to happen in the weapons industry by weaponizing this and unfortunately using it against people. This has always been the case, right? So now you're going to have US and China essentially have an AI arms race in the same way that within the Western world, we have an AI arms race within, different companies kind of taking this on, whether that's Google, Amazon, Meta even. I think it is what it is. I mean, I think it better positions America in this instance, but for how long? We're kind of invoking and starting that AI arms race, if you will.
And I'll add to that Palmer Lucky's company. I forget the name. It's like in Churon or some weird thing. And the Tesla humanoid robots. Who knows what? Hey, I could see those in a battlefield in 20 years. Here, let's pull up the stock. Owen, if we could share my screen. You can see it's been kind of trading along this channel, bouncing off that psychological level of $400, and then rejecting largely off the psychological level of $500. So just kind of chopping along sideways here. Now, crypto blood, a lot of people, they have these fears of AI, or that AI is the biggest hope in the world. You want to talk about the positive sentiment or the negative, crypto blood?
I'll go with the positive. That's cool.
All right. What do you think is
that,
the biggest benefit we'll see from AI in the near future?
productivity? It's going to increase productivity by many, many folds. And so with that means you'll be able to do more of what you want to do in life, and less of what you need to do or have to do. So I think that is a benefit overall. It's a productivity boost for the entire globe. So those are some of the benefits from AI. But again, with that comes the cons, and which is you're going to need less people to do those jobs because everyone will be much more productive. And so that is the downside to the AI situation, man.
Crypto blood, if it helped your productivity, would you be comfortable with the Tesla humanoid robot inside your home?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Chat, what do you think?
No
Would you let the
robot. No
robot?
iRobot.
Remember, they don't go to sleep. All right. Dylan Rose. Well, he took the positive aspect. So now I'm going to ask you about the scary, the freak people out. I want chat to be frightened. I want them shaking in their chair right now. What to you is the biggest fear of AI in the short term?
That's so tough because I don't know if you saw like Mark Andreessen's techno optimism thing. Did you see that, DZ?
Yes, a little bit. The man who has the same haircut as me, but it's a little more bulbous on top.
He's got a big. So actually, I've heard, not to get too off topic, but I've heard in person, like he's got a ginormous head. Like literally,
I believe it. 2 points for the egg alpha.
Egg alpha. So yeah, it's hard for me to take the negative because I do really think of the positive. But I mean, it's kind of like the internet. If you look at kind of some of the negativity, I think a lot of it, to be honest, is more social manipulation, right? That whatever you can do badly with the internet today, which is like influencing elections, making people afraid, kind of this, when COVID happened and everyone's like super fearful, the markets are swinging like crazy. You might just see that get dialed up by like 10x, right? So I think the new kind of unknown risks are obviously part of it, but it's more like the known risks of people using the internet badly. Just it makes it so much easier for bad people to do bad stuff. But without going too far in the positive, it's the same thing. You're going to have people who are using it for really bad things, and then you're going to have people like Palmer Luckey, Peter Thiel with Palantir, who can actually combat that with more of those systems. So shaking your boots because North Korea has these tools that they can use to get your children to believe that North Korea is better than the US. That's probably the biggest fear that I would have around AI.
All right, Crypto Blood, you're pulling up is this a book recommendation? Is this like Oprah's book club?
This is a book. Yeah, this is a book recommendation. I read it about a month and a half ago. You got to go read this book, Scary Smart. It is a great one. Ex-Google architect. And he breaks it down. He was the one closely related to the advancement of AI over at Google. And it is a great book. It shows you the pros and cons. And it's something that I think, and it's done in a way that's very non-technical. So I think people should check it out, and you'll get a very good understanding of the landscape of AI and the direction we're going with it.
And it's interesting, this head of development at Google quit because the whole reason OpenAI exists today is because Elon Musk felt the head of Google, Larry and Sergey, didn't take AI serious enough. So he founded his own company to compete against Google's AI. Fast forward to today, and now we have Sam Altman running it.
Yeah, true. I didn't know about that, but anyway, he left, Mo left, and also the godfather of AI left Google. So that should tell you, man, there's something that these individuals know that Google has that they're scared about, and they're trying to get the word out about it. Great book.
All right. I'm already getting freaked out. All right, well, let's talk about moon dumping, and it dumped even harder than the what we saw with NVIDIA. If we want to share my screen here, It is now down to 2 point. I actually want to keep refreshing because it just keeps going lower and lower. Okay, it's bouncing a little. Now it's up to 3.4 cents. Look at that 24-hour chart, folks. That was close to a quarter. Okay, we're not talking about 2 cents. We're talking about almost 25 cents and is now fallen just on the 24-hour, 85%. Well, back in July here, I'll share, keep it up, go back to my screen here. Reddit killing the blockchain-based community points. So Reddit is no longer having community points. There were a couple, there's a Fortnite one here. You can see Fortnite Bricks token. It is also down 60%. There's a couple subreddits within Reddit. And these subreddits utilize the community points. And then one day the speculation was, hey, maybe Reddit will have an airdrop. Maybe Reddit one day will make us all rich. So people were collecting these speculative subreddit tokens. Maybe, hey, who knows what Reddit will do? Well, Reddit just pulled the rug, said, hey, we're never going to do anything here. Essentially saying you can no longer own a piece of the community. The communities were pissed. You can see with the token price right there, not much support. The users are feeling betrayed. Now, Crypto Savvy, 85%, 88% drawdown. To you, you probably wonder why it's not down 98%. But I want to ask you about the users. The users are pissed. Is that a fair reaction?
I mean, I don't really follow a lot of the tokens and all that stuff and what's going on, so I don't even really know what's going on with that. But I guess you could say they have a right to be pissed, as in what it sounds like happened. But in all reality, all this shit's risky. So you got to figure it out.
All right, read the fine print, people. Crypto Savvy, what are your just broad thoughts on airdrops in general? Is that something you just say stay away from, or is it a good way for, say, free money if you're, limited funds?
It's not for me, but I know people. I have some buddies that do it, and they've made some money off it and stuff. I just don't do it. I don't. But I mean, to each their own. It's free tokens. I mean,
yeah.
Have it.
Yeah, when they don't have you jumping through too many hoops. All right, go outside, jump through a ring of fire, take a picture, pet a pink hippo, write your logo, tag a wall. Sometimes it gets a little bit much. All right, now, Faded Wealth. Let's say they come up to you, the Moon team, the Reddit cryptocurrency subreddit. They come up to you, they say, man, we just faded the wealth of our entire community. Faded Wealth, we need your help. Give us a game plan. What's one tip you would give the cryptocurrency subreddit to help maybe resurrect the Moon product? They don't have Reddit's backing, but it's still a team-led effort. What's just one thing they could do?
Whew, that's going to be a tough one. And the reason I say it's a tough one is because once you have that expectation, it's really hard to bounce back from. People are kind of more geared towards the DeFi farming sort of thing. I think we've seen that with Blur. We're seeing that right now with Friendtech. Like if Paradigm one day, or if Friendtech just announces, hey, these points mean nothing, like it's, yes, even if you have a great product, it's going to lead to a massive slump in adoption of that product. So I agree with the whole farming meta, like as far as getting initial user adoption, but there needs to be more substance there. The fact that these things, that the speculative tokens have dropped 60, 70%, almost 90% overnight in the case of Moons, shows that a majority of the people were misaligned incentives. They didn't actually give a crap about showcasing or sharing quality content as a means of adding more value to the overall ecosystem that is Reddit. So I think what you would have to do is go back to the drawing board. At some point prior to this speculative narrative, people were still using these platforms. Why? Right? They were using it to share information that might not be accessible on other social media platforms. They were using it to have discussions about those pieces of information. So, how do you incentivize people without necessarily dangling that carrot in front of them? I think there's a lot of different ways. I think recognition goes a long way. I think the whole pat on the back thing, just like having maybe even a leaderboard, even though it doesn't necessarily directly tie to a financial incentive, is one way of just giving people a spotlight and a little bit more of a focus within that sub community so that they can kind of get some clout. I say this all of the time. Attention economics, like attention is worth more than money in a lot of cases. And in a lot of cases with these communities, they just want to be recognized. They just want to feel heard. They just want to feel seen and visible. So trying to do that with the largest contributors as much as possible.
They just want to be seen. I like that. It reminds me of the 90s PSA with the shrinking secretary, somewhat of an old reference. That was for you, Savvy and Blood there. All right. Yeah, great stuff. Now, Faded is going to be interesting to see, and I agree with all that. I think it's going to be community-led and, maybe some sort of metaphorical pattern, some sort of attaboy. We got to, hey, you're here, you're in the trenches. We got to give them something. Now, Crypto Blood, I'm going to do the same thing with you here. You want to go positive or you want to go negative here?
With Reddit, I'm
Yes.
going to go negative with this one.
All right. Let's share this screen. I want to paint a scenario for you here. Some of the comments, they're literally linking crypto lawyers and law firms. People are pissed. They want to sue Reddit. How do you think this goes? Is there any merit here? I mean, are we going to be seeing articles on CoinDesk about, big class action lawsuit against Reddit as Moon community is pissed?
No, they're just retarded. Okay. They made the mistake of doing that, and you just got to deal with the consequences. Nobody told you Moon was going to be used by Reddit. Here's what this whole situation does to me, DZ. It invalidates the narrative that many people in crypto think is going to happen in the near term. They think that these big companies are going to use blockchain and some coin that they own to pump their bags and make them all rich and all of that. It's not going to happen. What we have here is a simple and easy, understandable case that, hey, you have to have regulation for these big companies to really use blockchain. And I'm gonna go a step further. You need regulation, but you need favorable regulation for the blockchain space. So until we get favorable regulation in this space, you won't see companies like Reddit really embrace the blockchain as they should. It has nothing to do with too many resources. Really, blockchain should eliminate a lot of need for overhead and a lot of programming and all of that, right? So really the issue at the end of the day is regulation, and we need favorable regulation to see companies like Reddit fully embrace it and scale it out, and where we can all benefit. So it kind of translates from even Reddit forums to gaming as well. So we won't see the gaming world really get going until we have favorable regulation in this space for us.
All right. So when it rolls out, you might see Reddit alongside a Microsoft, alongside a Google, alongside a Starbucks, even, maybe offering out more Web3 style opportunities.
We need the favorable regulation, man. And it's not just Gensler, okay? He's just the head figure, just like Sleepy Joe is the president, but he really ain't. Gensler is not really the person that is controlling everything. He's been appointed. He's the figurehead. He's the talking head. We just need better and more favorable regulation. That's it, man.
I wouldn't want to stick my hand up that sock puppet. All right, Dylan Rose, let's talk about regulation here. Reddit just directly called out regulation. They said the unclear regulation from the SEC and Gary Gensler is making it just an untenable situation here. Well, let's just say, not only Gensler's out, let's say we get a whole new regime. I mean, do you expect Reddit to maybe capitulate if the landscape gets a little friendlier?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same old, which is we just need clarity on actually how to do this. I think a lot of, folks have taken big leaps. XRP is a really good example. A lot of times in the last couple of years, you might have said they made a big mistake, but over the last couple of months, it's clear that they went from kind of making this mistake, potentially hurting investors, to wait, they were actually way ahead of the curve. And, as much as we don't like how kind of VCs have taken strong positions in crypto, they have also been the ones that have been, creating legal frameworks ahead of the SEC and ahead of, a lot of networks that really just kind of flail. So, I mean, I think Reddit as a kind of corporate company will definitely get back into the fold when it's very clear. And it also might just come down to, here is the network and here are the frameworks on chain. And as long as you abide by the rules of the smart contract, this pattern has already been validated as a good pattern. The trouble is, Reddit doesn't want to be picking a winner, right? They don't want to say, well, we pick Ethereum and that's the winner, and then everyone's got to pay gas fees, or we pick Solana and that's the winner, and then it goes down. So I think it's exactly. Less about, right, like it's less about regulatory from the top, in my opinion, and more about finding a stack of technology that is proven. And part of it being proven is that it is compliant, but that's just that's just part of it. And it's, it's like you can't, if Facebook never figured out their regulatory issues and freedom of speech wasn't clear, then no one could actually use Facebook despite how good of a platform it is. So I do think it's still on the platforms to figure this out. But obviously, it's going to take kind of that platform getting over the line with the SEC on some of their products for then larger corporations to say, yes, we can now consume these products.
So many ways I want to go with this. You brought up VCs, helping writing some of this legislation, some of this framework. Do you think it's just setting up legislation good for the incumbents, kind of like Bill Gurley said? Are they creating moats? FTX probably wanted it harder for future exchanges. Is that a concern of yours, Dylan?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, to some extent, right? I mean, I think at the end of the day, regulatory clarity, especially from VCs, it opens the door for more and more companies. I think where you want to be careful with kind of what VCs do, it's back to what I'm saying, right? They're trying to pick a platform that's going to be a winner. So even if Ethereum, has issues with the way it runs, if Ethereum is the only thing that's regulatory compliant and some VC has a big bag of Ethereum, now it's easy for new companies to crop up on Ethereum, and it's a lot harder for new companies to crop up on some other competing chain. So, I guess to answer the question, of course, right? VCs have kind of bags, and they have responsibilities to their investors to not actively harm their bag, right? So they're not going to go out and fund something that goes against Ethereum, and they're going to want to make it easier for companies to build on Ethereum. So I think overall it should lower the barrier to entry, but it's going to be a lot harder for new L1s. Like, me in my garage, I'm not going to be able to come up with a new L1 like Vitalik in his dorm room or whatever it was, right?
All right, guys, you guys are missing the best chat, ATB. We are going to be consolidated. We'll all be on Discover starting next week. But meanwhile, the chat is popping off. Dylan Rose, here's the scenario of, they said you don't want to pick a winner. You got the Reddit community. You got about a third of the people raising their hand for Ethereum. Gas fee, okay. Then a third of the people, L2s. Oh, it might be complicated. Wallets, okay. And then a third of the people, Solana. Oh, okay, the chain might go off. And then you have one guy raise his hand, says Cardano. And then everybody else just looked at him. I think that's how that would have gone. All
I
right,
shot both of those down.
Shot it down quickly. All right, let's talk about Ripple here. If you want to go ahead and share
let me go ahead and give a shot for Ripple too real quick before you even getting started. Let's go. What you got, Daisy? What you got?
All right. Well, Ripple, are they going public? A new job posting suggests so. The job posting is for shareholder communications senior manager. It's going to have developing relationships with analysts, shareholders, investors, including creating investor materials, shareholder communications, and planning events to engage the investor economy. Well, a lot of people don't know. Ripple Labs, the entity behind XRP, is a private company. They're not publicly traded. But this recent hiring has people saying, oh, no, this is the smoking gun. They're clearly soon to launch an IPO. Well, what does Ripple have to say about it? You got to go all the way back to July to find an official statement. They haven't posted anything as of yet, maybe in the last 10 minutes. In July, they stated it is considering going public, but it'd have to be after the legal dispute with the SEC is resolved. Then they would consider the IPO. First major IPO, Coinbase. And we all know how that one went. So now, Crypto Savvy, I think we're going to have fun with this one here. Now, Crypto Savvy, you can't say neither. Neither is not an option here. What would you rather have, some money tied up in? Would you rather have it tied up in Ripple equity or the XRP token?
Ripple.
Okay,
Definitely
why?
Ripple. I don't have a problem with Ripple as a company, right? I have a problem with XRP. The biggest pump and dump scam. The coin's worthless. You can literally put any coin on the Ripple network. They could create another coin. It would do the same thing as Ripple, right? XRP, I'm sorry. They could create any coin. And, I used to play in penny stocks a lot. That's where I come from.
That's why you're bearish. I'm sorry.
Ripple. XRP is literally I'm going to show my chart real quick. Let me show this chart.
Please. While you're pulling that up, do you think we will fail to reclaim an all-time high next bull run if we get one?
On XRP?
Oh, man. I think you're kind of...
Three strikes, you're out of here. So
All right. What's your do you think this trend's just going to continue, or can it, maybe turn
Continue.
that resistance
If
into support?
if it blows up, maybe the banks really used it. But from being from penny stocks, right? So all you had, if anybody's familiar with penny stocks, it's a lot like crypto, right? So
Yep.
you have all these new like Cointelegraph, right? You have a bunch of news things like that in the penny stock market, and these guys actually can pay to put ads on them. They come up in the morning before the markets start trading. Everybody's watching those, and they're just a bunch of pump and dumps. You can literally write, and I'm sure you can do it with Cointelegraph and everybody else too. You can pay them to put whatever article you want, to a certain degree. Obviously, you can't tell a big lie like they did, but regardless, this is exactly how you see penny stocks die. And a lot of people, this is where I learned to play these in penny stocks, right? So look at all the hype back here. What was the hype back in 18? Where they were, Google was adopting them or something crazy. I don't know if you remember that, but
that just
it was all about
people are
it was
looking
all
at
about
domain
Google.
names being registered.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what was this one right here? This big hype said there was something, I don't even remember what it was.
That might have just
I
been
wanna say-
coinciding with the Bitcoin pump.
No, there was something. They were claiming something. Oh, the banks. Tons of banks were starting to use them. They give them this bank. This bank is using them. Banks are testing them. Well, that kind of goes along with the penny stock thing. You can legally say you're a partner with somebody. If I made Savy coin, right? I can give somebody a bunch of the coins and tell them play with it, do whatever. They can literally sell it, do whatever they want. But for me giving them to them accepting them, they are now a partner. You can legally call them a partner. So when they say they're partnering with banks, they're not partnering with banks, in my opinion. But anyways, and then you had the FEC lawsuit bull crap. You got another hype pump. And if you look at this,
Savvy said FEC. Yeah, we should F the SEC.
SEC, my bad. But anyways, you look at this white trend line. We never even could open or close a weekly candle above it. And before this even happened, I had this chart drawn out just like that with the X's before this even hit up there. And it's just obvious, man. This thing is in serious trouble unless something big happens, like banks really do use it, which I highly doubt.
All right.
Banks could use whatever coin they want. But anyway, that's what I think of XRP. I think it's absolute garbage. I know I'm getting a lot of hate for it, but that's, in my mind, that is a fact. This thing
we appreciate the strong opinion. XRP community, I mean, this is your challenging rallying cry. So I'm sure a lot of you want to prove them wrong. Then there's a lot of people who say, I just can't wait for Savvy to be proven right. I don't think we'll hit those 2018 highs or 21. That's just kind of my 2 cents. Unless, again, I kind of agree with you. Unless some huge change. All right, well, Faded Wealth, I want to ask you about XRP, the price of the token itself. If they do launch an IPO, and if you can buy some stock in Ripple Labs, will that reduce the buying pressure of XRP, or will it increase the buying pressure of XRP as people are like, oh, it's a legit company? What do you think?
I think I think it will decrease the actual buying pressure of the token itself, because if you think about the people that are holding on to the token, they're not thinking about the actual use case of the token itself, but more of, again, the speculative narrative that major banks are going to use this. And if major banks use this, then it's going to moon and it's going to go up crazy. And that's sort of why they're buying in, if we want to just be completely honest, right? If you eliminate that narrative, or if that narrative is done in a more official capacity, as far as an actual like IPO of a company, then that is what's really going to see the real value of the technology as a whole, right? Like that is what's actually going to see the value of it. It's like, if somebody buys an NFT, you're not, like, if you buy an Azuki, you're not investing into Chiru Labs. You're buying an asset that represents that specific company, right? Or Chiru Labs as a whole. You're not a shareholder, right? Yeah. Like you could be the biggest XRP whale in the entire world. You're still not a shareholder. You have less say on the actual company operations than someone who even just owns one share, right? So I think it eliminates a little bit of that buying pressure for the actual XRP token as a whole. It is really bullish for anybody that's able to get into that IPO. because of what we saw with Coinbase. You're obviously going to have this major narrative pushing behind it. I think people can and will make a shit ton of money in the process, investing in pretty early. But at the same time, they're going to dump it. They're going to dump, and it'll likely go down 70, 80, 90%, just like Coinbase did over the year. Now, I will say from a tech standpoint, last thing here, from a tech standpoint, Ripple still is pretty necessary. I don't know if you guys saw this today or yesterday, I believe. Tether froze 32 addresses tied to some Hamas. Tied to Hamas and some like terrorist activities. If XRP is quote unquote decentralized, you might see, and they really truly want to stand by that narrative. You're going to see some complications there, especially if they're a publicly traded company.
Yeah, I have a feeling though they'll roll that XRPL back and say, blacklisted wallet. All right, now Crypto Blood, we're gonna have you put the Bloodlytics on this job listing. Was this job listing the smoking gun? People are wondering, I mean, is this true or is it not? What do you think here?
Let me get the negative out the way first. Okay. XRP, everybody know I hate it. I hope you DZ, do you have XRP hoodie on today?
I do not have the XRP hoodie on, but
okay,
good.
And
not only that,
I know.
I have like 100. I have a small amount.
I know.
Hundreds of dollars.
I know. XRP, the banker's coin that no bank uses. Round of applause for that. Now that's my negative. You guys know I can't stand XRP. But on the positive side, bro, the Ripple IPO, it's going to be big, I think. I think it's going to be big. Now, I used to be in the whole tech space. I had a tech startup. And, I paid attention to what was going on in the VC world, in the angel investment realm when it comes to rounds and companies, okay? So with XRP, I'm going to drop some alpha here. XRP, or I should say Ripple, has had 8 rounds of funding since inception, okay? The first few seed rounds, most of them undisclosed. But as we get into the Series A, another Series A, B, and then we have this round C here at 200 million. Guess what, guys? This is code for we didn't exit, okay? And the way they're going to get their exit is through an IPO. And I think it definitely is coming. It for sure DZ is coming. People are going to definitely make some money, the ones who got into this the seed rounds and the funding. But what's crazy is the degens in the crypto markets are so stupid. They're going to think that the XRP token has something to do with the Ripple stock, and it has nothing to do with it. Yep. So you will see a pump. I think, in the XRP token, but that will fade as well. And XRP will probably head even lower. That's my 2 Satoshis on that.
All right. Last question on this topic, Dylan, is coming your way here. You're in charge. Move over, Brad. Dylan's in charge here. You get the choice. What do you do with Ripple Labs? Do you keep it private, or are you going to have an IPO?
Oh, that's so tough. Because, I mean, I share a lot of similar sentiment around not really liking Ripple that much. So, I mean, look, yeah, sorry to piss people off. My initial reaction was I would just shut it down. Sorry.
Oh, my God. Savage.
No, I mean, here's the problem. And Blood's exactly right. Like Wall Street is not kind, right? Like, if Uber can IPO and they actually have a product with billions of users and they still just chat for like a decade, what is XRP going to do? Like, they're going to go to earnings and it's like, so what's your product and who's your users? Like, if they go public, like exactly, like the people who made money will get out and then the company will collapse. Like, it will go bankrupt 100%. And maybe that's what they need because they just can't get funding anymore. Like, what's the model? Like, yeah, I guess maybe if this world comes true that all these banks and countries start using Ripple, but like, I don't know. Do they really even have a product? And is that product better than any decentralized network? Because you got to think about it this way. And I'm sorry, I'm not really answering. I'm saying keep it private because it's just vaporware. That's like the answer, right? Ooh. If I'm Brad, I'm like very worried that if I take it public, it's public, like everyone's gonna know, and they're really hinged on the fact that they have to get adoption at the highest levels of government and banks, etc. So again, just break it down super simply. Like, why would a bank or government just start using XRP when they know that Brad can just turn it off, right? That he has all the control. It's not a distributed network. They just take XRP and move it into dollar, right? So if they actually want to go and build a real crypto product, that'd be great. And then they could take it public, because then they'll actually get real adoption. But I just think Blood's exactly right. Like, it's just the final exit before they either chop or just Wall Street just crushes them. But yeah, final point. If Uber, Airbnb, legitimate companies with a real product that everyone actually finds value in can't even get, beyond their initial price, I can't imagine what a company without an actual product is going to do when they go public.
All right, just to play the devil's advocate, to be the XRP, champion here for some people. People saying, "Oh, all this FUD," and no one saying anything positive. I think the counter would be XRPL is the technology. Apparently, XRPL's speed and security and availability is what separates it from its competitors. So many would say it's the ledger itself. It's their distributed blockchain technology. It's just so unique. It's so unique, Dylan. I know the coin launched, 2014? But look, sure, coins have been launched in the past 9 years, but their tech is unique. All right. I'm sorry. I kind of shit on it here a little bit. But you know what? I'm still a holder. And,
I don't know what to say.
The XRPLs. I'm rooting for the XRPL. Let's see what that ledger can accomplish. I'm still team Chainlink when it comes to
XRPL, like in XRP loss.
Take it.
No comment there. Yeah. No comment on that one. All right, guys, this was a great episode. I thought Savy was going to take it, then I thought Blood, and then he almost he passed the baton, and then Dylan Rose.
What can I say? One more thing,
Savy, go ahead, man. I think it's been at least a year since you.
Let's go OT. Let's go OT.
What Dylan was saying about the vaporware, right? There's no product or whatever. That's how I see at least 90%.
We know, man. We know.
They don't have nothing that makes any freaking money. They're not. You don't buy into a company that's making money. They're not making money. All they're making is your money when you put it in, and the big boys pull it out. I mean, that's why I think this crash, when it comes, this market crash, I do believe it. I could be wrong, but I really believe this is going to be a serious market crash we see, and we're going to see a lot. Most of these shit coins will be totally gone, and I'll be happy. So
yep.
Yes, he will. All right, well, I do want to give a shout out to Linqto. Guys, Linqto was way ahead of the curve. They're a friend of the channel, and they were selling Ripple IPO shares. So if there is an IPO, you have the private equity, and they might roll out the second wave. The first one sold out quick. So check out Linqto. Link is in the description below. But Dylan Rose ended up taking it home. Dylan, feel free. Mind leaving us with some parting thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep adding more doom and gloom, which is I really hope things actually start getting used in crypto. I mean, look, I love the space. Bitcoin is obviously used. I've used Bitcoin for a key use case where I couldn't pay someone. But like Ethereum and Solana, I like where they're going, but the proof's in the pudding. Are people using it? Not really. Like, they only use it in a bull run. That doesn't really count. So I'm sorry, guys. I hope we'll get there soon, maybe in the next cycle. But for now, just stay super pragmatic. Like, is it useful technology or not? That's really all you got to worry about.
All right. I think we put you in the Bitcoin orange, and it was a good choice, folks. All right. That's all we got time for. Make sure you check out all the links below. Check out Savy's channel. Faded Wealth. You Faded Wealth. Crypto Blood, he'll teach you how not to. Crypto Blood, give you the blood analytics. Savy will just be that Tweety on your shoulder that, trust me, guys, you're going to need him more than anything 18, 24 months from now, folks. I'm very, very serious. If I would listen to him a lot more in 2021, I'd be a lot happier. And then, of course, Dylan Rose, who took the W today. So make sure you check him out as well. That's all we got, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.